The force of the storm's strength became a symbol for the town's tragedy, placed on the foundation of the community center, where families had gathered for a Head Start graduation ceremony. The ruins became a tomb for those who died inside. Several days later, the funerals began. Victims laid to rest in a cemetery outside Zaragoza. Casket after casket rested on a makeshift bier, mother and child in one, teenaged girl cradling a young sister in another. And about all this Hispanic community had left was its faith.
We will build the new community of Zaragoza. And Zaragoza will continue to be an example to the rest of the diocese and to the rest of the world.
Eventually, the promise to rebuild what was taken was fulfilled. Labor Day weekend, the Texas Baptist Men's Association poured into Zaragoza. And within 3 days, neat frame houses rose from the ground, backbreaking work that resembled a barn raising. Today, much of Zaragoza has been rebuilt, a town that defied the odds of survival. On the outskirts of Zaragoza, though, there are the graves, reminders of the toll that nature took and no amount of work can ever replace. In July, the rains came in force to the Texas Hill Country, 12 inches in just a few hours, and enough to push the Guadalupe River over its banks, taking a church bus bound for Seagaville with it. Comfort, Texas. Even as the rain pelted this area, scores of helicopters descended on the river, where the 43 youngsters aboard the bus were stranded. A few hours before, they had been on church retreat. Many were left clinging to tree limbs as the river swirled beneath. Not all could be saved. The hours some spent resisting the river current had tired them. Unable to cling to lifelines, 10 teenagers died. And for days after, parents and police searched debris along the river for bodies. 9 were eventually found. But the body of John Bankston Jr. is still missing, despite weeks of searching by his father. Several weeks later, Bankston Sr. filed a lawsuit, claiming the area should have been evacuated earlier. Deborah Wrigley, Eyewitness News.
I'm Jim Rosenfield. It was on October 30th that thousands of Texas City residents were forced to flee their homes when a cloud of toxic hydrofluoric acid leaked from the Marathon petroleum plant.
This is not a drill.
An estimated 2,000 to 6,000 pounds of the corrosive chemical vaporized at the plant when a piece of heavy equipment fell from a crane, smashing a tank and pipeline. More than 1,000 people sought treatment at local hospitals, most complaining of breathing problems and irritated eyes. When residents were finally able to return to their homes after 2 days, many found their cars damaged and vegetation brown from the acid residue.
I'm worried about my family, plus the people around here, that they don't have to go through what I'm going through.
Some complained their health problems persisted long after the leak. 8 Texas City police officers and a group of residents have since sued Marathon for their handling of the accident. Jim Rosenfield, Eyewitness News in Texas City.
I'm Leslie Brinkley.
Here it is! Yes! This is it. The pictures are snapping, the crowd is cheering, they're trying to quiet it down as they bring the little girl up.
It was a story that brought out the best in all of us. The rescue of Jessica McClure in Midland, Texas. It was a 58-hour ordeal we will never forget, when the world prayed for an 18-month-old girl stuck 28 feet down in an abandoned backyard well. She sang Winnie the Pooh. She slept and she cried for her mother. We waited, we cried, and then we celebrated the little girl's recovery. There was a pink parade to salute the everyday people who became the heroes in this drama. Well-wishers sent gifts. Jessica smiled and cooed for the camera. We remember the happy ending. Leslie Brinkley, Eyewitness News.
And when Eyewitness News continues, we'll introduce you to a teacher who's really making the grade.
Stay with us.